Tom Mazaway, Braylon Edwards. I do want to start with a little Lions talk if we could today. One of the things I'm a numbers guy. I think men lie, women lie.
Numbers don't.
Numbers don't. And you talk about the importance of going 2-0 in the NFL. Since the merger in 1970, 63% of the teams, more than 63% of the teams that start a season 2-0 make the playoffs. And, nothing is guaranteed for the Lions. We think they're going to win the division. We think they're going to host a home playoff game. We think they're going to make the playoffs. But they have to go out there and they have to do it. And, yes, they won week 1. Now follow it up and capitalize on that victory by beating a Seattle team that got blasted at home last week against the Rams, 30-13. They're going to show up, and they're going to play maybe their best football game that they possibly could play after getting blown out last week at home, Braylon. But 2-0 is such an important number in the NFL. You'd love to see it.
No, you definitely would love to see 2-0. You would love, especially you would love to capitalize on a win in Arrowhead. I don't know if people realize how strong that win is, because as I watch power rankings, as I watch things, I think Detroit's still getting a little played on what they did. They went into Arrowhead. They beat the reigning defending champs. They beat them at their own game. So that needs to be said. With that being said, you got to follow it up, because this is the NFL, baby. I'm looking at the schedule, and before the season started, we were like, okay, Seahawks will be tough. The Chiefs, Falcons will win. Green Bay will win. And not so fast. Green Bay looked pretty decent. You look at Tampa Bay, and I know I crack jokes about Baker Mayfield. They look halfway decent, so it's going to be a tough road. But when you start off 2-0, Ryan, the energy, it's the energy that you have, it's the momentum that you gain, and you start to try more. And Ben Johnson, we know he was just kind of warming up. But they go 2-0, you start to get confident. You beat two really good teams, Super Bowl winner and a playoff team from last year. Now you start to take more shots. Now you open up, and Jahmyr Gibbs, sky's the limit.
Parker popped up the post from ML Football on the screen.
This is awesome.
It is a great stat. In 9 of the past 10 seasons, the Super Bowl has featured at least one team that hadn't won a playoff game in the season prior. He lists Miami, Detroit, Cleveland, New England, Las Vegas, and New Orleans as options for this year.
Yeah.
And we all do believe, I think for the most part, if you're honest with yourself, the Lions, do have a chance. However small or large you may think it is, they do have a chance to make it to a Super Bowl this season. Now it takes a lot of luck. It takes a lot of good fortune.
Health.
To get there. Health, absolutely, to get there. But you can't be 2-0 if you're not 1-0, and you can't be 3-0 if you're not 2-0. So just keep playing the game in front of you, and don't look down the road. Kansas City was a team that you can. It was kind of like if you relate to a college game, right?
Yeah.
When Michigan was playing Notre Dame week 1 every year, it's a lot easier to go through, the off-season workouts, this, that, and the other thing. When the Lions had the Chiefs right there in their crosshairs all season long, pointing to the Chiefs, you're like, man, that's the gold standard in the NFL. Yeah, that's the gold standard in the NFL. And now you look at the Seahawks and maybe you take it for granted, but you hope they don't. This will be a Dan Campbell coaching job too, to keep these guys, keep what's in front of you in front of you.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that they will take it for granted, because everything that they've talked about is not being there, not having done anything. And for them, I got to listen to what they said in the offseason. I got to listen to what they said last year. They haven't done anything. So in beating the Kansas City Chiefs, this is a great win, great opening game win, the biggest opening game win in Detroit Lions history. But you got to go out there next week. You got to beat the Seahawks. You got to go out the next week. You got to beat the Falcons. You got to go out the next week, beat the Green Bay Packers and keep this thing going. But they are starting off on the right. I will be honest with you, Ryan. When we talk about Lions and Super Bowl and all that, I'm kind of like, I was hoping. It was a good story, but I thought that they could win first round of the playoffs. I thought that they would lose in the second round of the playoffs. I never, ever really thought that they would get, past NFC. I'm watching it now, and you just think about what Houston Texans were in the AFC Championship 5 years ago. Buffalo Bills were in the AFC Championship. The Cincinnati Bengals, who weren't there, you start to realize that it is a now league. It is a now league, and what I saw last Thursday, or last Thursday, It's a now league, and they beat the Kansas City Chiefs and the champs.
Hey, Bray, I want to ask you, because yesterday I asked Marvin Jones, and it was a pleasure to have him pop by our studios yesterday.
So good on the mic.
And I asked him, he is great on the mic. And I asked him, I know he wasn't here last year, but I said that. And I said, on the Lions, any of them talking about last year against the Seahawks. So I'm going to ask you, if you got a beat down last year and you're playing a team for the home opener, are you thinking about that game at all, or are you guys not even talking about it at all?
You damn right.
I thought so.
You're damn right, because I'm going to tell you like this, man. The reason why you're thinking about it like that, one, they're not in your division. They're not in your division. So seeing them 2 years in a row at your home, that doesn't happen a lot in the NFL. It doesn't happen that you'll see a team not in your division 2 years in a row in your home. So they beat you down last year, at least on offense. I mean, at least on offense, they beat you
they
down.
didn't punt
one time. You're thinking about that. You now know, because they know after the last 10 games of the season, we're not the same team that played the Seattle Seahawks then. Even now, we're not the same team at the end of the season last year. So please believe they have been circling this game, maybe even more than that Kansas City game. They may have been circling this one a lot more. They're going to come on this game fired up. Even though Marvin Jones wasn't there, he's a part of this team now, and they're pissed off. So guess what? He's pissed off. He's got a nice smile. So he hit it well. They're pissed off.
Well, you know Aaron Glenn's pissed, right? I mean, that's his defense.
And he said he wanted to be what?
The best coordinator ever before he becomes a head coach.
There it is.
Guys, let me tell you about the Lions post-game show. We will have it for you right here. Woodward Sports post-game show on YouTube. Tom Mazaway, Stick. You got Anson here as well. The whole crew will be here.
I like that picture.
Absolutely. After the Lions and Seahawks play each other on Sunday. Tune it in. Stay tuned here to Woodward Sports on YouTube for all the latest reaction, hot takes, hot off the presses takes. The Detroit Lions post-game show right here on WSN YouTube channel. And just moreover to that, to what you guys were talking about, Mike O'Hara in his column today on DetroitLions.com. There's a quote from Jared Goff. We remember. They've beaten us 2 years in a row. We remember and want to get our shot back. Now, I'll be honest with you. To me, this is the NFL. It's a new league. Whatever it takes for you. Year to year, it's a new league. Whatever it takes for you to get your juices flowing, by all means. Jared Goff is a guy that is playing against Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks for the 11th time in his career. Do you know what his record is in those games?
11th time, I'd say. So he's played 10 games. I would say he's 2-8.
5-5. But he's lost his last two, and he's lost his last two here in Detroit. So this is a game that you'd like to see Jared Goff win. But these two teams have matched up. No team, by the way, I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you. I was very excited, and I geeked out on the numbers. So last year, 93 points scored in the Seattle Lions game. It was 48-45.
What's up with you with the numbers today? I'm loving it. By the numbers.
There has been never in the history of the NFL have two teams combined for 80 or more points in back-to-back years. So maybe not expect a high-scoring game just if you play by the numbers.
But, I mean, a good thing is you saw what the Seattle Seahawks did last week. They didn't look good. Now, they'll be a much better team, like Matt said. They will be hungry. They're going to come in here. But just because they're hungrier doesn't mean they're going to play well against that defense. That defense was lights out. Talking about that defensive line, the surprise to me was that defensive line. But Ryan, you're absolutely right. No matter what team you go to, you got that team that you always want to beat. When I was with the Cleveland Browns, there was a team I never could beat. It was the Pittsburgh Steelers. So when I got to the Jets, when we played them, I gave it everything I had. Finally beat the Steelers. You keep track of when you play those teams, and those teams that have the advantage on you, you want to give everything you have in those games.